Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Umar Alif bin Azhar. I'm gonna to start this presentation with the introduction of the topic discussed, which is plastic pollution in the oceans. Plastic pollution has become one of the most pressing environmental issues, as rapidly increasing production of disposable plastic overwhelm the world's ability to deal with them. Plastic pollution is most visible in developing Asian and African nations, where garbage collection system often inefficient or non-existent. But the developed world, especially in countries with low recycling rates, also have trouble properly collecting discarded plastics. Plastic trash has become so ubiquitous, it has prompted efforts to write a global treaty negotiated by the United Nations. Okay, as we can see here, the statistic of countries that pollute the oceans, around 275 million tons of plastic waste is generated each year around the world. Between 4.8 million and 12.7 million tons is dumped into the sea, and about 60% of the world of the plastic waste in the ocean comes from the following top 5 countries, which are China, Indonesia, Philippines, Vietnam, and Sri Lanka. This led to 100 million marine animals die each year from the plastic waste alone, and 100,000 marine animals die from getting entangled in plastic yearly. The largest trash site on the planet is the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, twice the surface area of Texas. In terms of plastic, 8.3 million tons are discarded into the sea yearly, of which 236,000 are ingestible microplastics. They are marine creatures mistake for food.
Next, I will continue the further presentation on subtopic for global law regarding the sea plastic pollution. Recently, the US Congress has developed proposals that attempt to reduce plastic usage. Are there any global laws on plastic pollution? Yes, there are several laws or acts that can curb this plastic pollution from continuing to occur. First of all, the Marine Protection Research and Sanctuary Act of 1972, or Ocean Dumping Act, is one of the several key environmental laws passed by the US Congress in 1972. The Act has two essential aims, which is to regulate international ocean disposal of materials and to authorize any related research. The Act regulates the ocean dumping of all material beyond the territorial limit to 3 miles, more specific to 4.8 km from shores, and prevent or strictly limits dumping material that would adversely affect human health, welfare or amenities, the marine environment, ecological system, or economic potentialities. The other act that regarding the sea plastic pollution, which is the International Law of Basel Convention 1989 on the control of cross-border movement and disposal of hazardous waste, and applicable to the problem of plastic waste. This act is to help regulate the trade of hazardous waste and to mitigate the unwanted transport of toxic shipments that governments did not concern of receiving. The Basel Convention established a soft law procedures whereby enforcement relies on countries establishing their own measures to comply with the treaty. The Break Free from Plastic Pollution Act was just reintroduced on March 25. Is a strong legislation to tackle this crisis. The comprehensive federal legislation will begin to phase out throwaway plastic made from fossil fuel, hold the plastic industry responsible for its waste, and pause construction on any new plastic making plants.
Polluting water in all forms is prohibited and contradicts with the teachings of the Sharia. These problems has been mentioned in the Quran, where we humans are not allowed to pollute and misuse the water and overconsumption it. Islam really emphasized to protect the environmental, and in this case, ocean is not only benefited by humans, but also other living creatures. Tawhid is the foundation of the Islamic faith. These principles provides a Muslim unitary vision. With the help of this vision, we can see that human and ecosystem are parts of the same universe and both are regulated by the divine law. Environmental protection becomes our religious duty. So this principle will create moral and religious motivation and environmental protection and security. The second one is Khalifa. This principle established the relationship between the Creator, humankind, and creation. Allah has created everything for humankind and appointed as the Khalif on this earth who are responsible to protect the natural resources. Humans are required to use them in right ways and benefiting from them wisely. Hundreds of thousands of marine animals get entangled in plastic waste each year that will limit their motion and their ability and causes injuries and infections to marine life. When marine animals consume plastic, the toxin will break down inside their bodies, so when humans eat seafood, we are consuming these too. In addition, the prohibition decree becomes more dense if this act would lead to the destruction of the environment. For example, throwing industrial waste into rivers, throwing solid waste, releasing waste or water into groundwater, or deliberate poisoning of water to kill harmful animals, which will lead to high pollution levels that will eventually lead to total loss of water resources.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Syamwan Faiz bin Syahid. So today I would like to discuss about how Islamic ethics can stop plastic pollution in sea. So let's go to the slide. Okay, so for the first one is Islamic ethics described as a good character developed over time, beginning 7th century and culminating in the 11th century. It was eventually formed as a successful synthesis of Quranic teaching, Muhammad teaching, Islamic jurisprudence, pre-Islamic Arab tradition, and non-Arabic element evident integrate with a generally Islamic structure. As a Muslim, you have a responsibility to deal with pollution on an individual level, but the transformation we need to survive must take place on a worldwide platform. So next, water is regarded as the most basic element of life in Islam. As a result, human and other living things cannot survive without water. We produce all living things from water, say Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Do not defecate even if you are in a running river, said Prophet Muhammad, emphasizing the value of water in Islamic thinking. Both the Quran and the Sunnah emphasize the rationale of water use. We can see from this that Islamic ethics tell us to always protect river and seas. This is because water is essential not just for human but also for marine life to survive. Furthermore, it is the responsibility of all humans to keep water clean. This is because the water we drink and utilize to cleanse our body on a daily basis is also the water that we consume. Recycling and reuse is an important part of conserving and protecting what we have. You can start with yourself, but your goal is to extend this action to families, communities, and other countries. If the deed is sincere, this will bring us closer to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. The world is beautiful and green, and verily Allah has made you His steward in it, and He sees how you liberate yourself.
In conclusion, we can see clearly about plastic pollution in the sea. It seems like a small problem, but this has affected many parts in our life. Plastic pollution is increasing day by day and getting worse, so that we have to issue law at the global level. Among law that are often used are Plastic Pollution Free Act, International Law Basel Convention, and Marine Protection Research and Sanctuary. With help global laws, we can slightly reduce the pollution of this plastic to maintain the sustainable of the sea. After that, although not explicitly mentioned, but with the interpretation made by experts, have been able to state that the plastic pollution of the sea is very close and already mentioned in Al-Quran, Tawheed and Khalifah. Therefore, as Muslims, we cannot allow this bad situation happen, as it has become our responsibility to preserve together. Furthermore, we cannot let this get worse. The first step we can take is self-action. For example, don't throw or littering plastic anywhere. Second, we can pick up plastic discarded on the beach. Reduce plastic use, such as using a paper bag, and send used plastic item to recycling center. With this step, we can show Islam a good natural religion, a religion that teach the attitude of respecting all things, even non-living things, educating its adherents to appreciate the source of life. Lastly, we hope this video could open your eyes that our life might be more worse if we let sea pollution increase, and give an impact and awareness about the sea plastic pollution. Together we stand to save our earth. Thank you for watching.